Hello, gorgeous soul friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Hannah. Welcome to my channel, and it's such an honor to be a part of your wondrous earth experience today. So this is a continuation of our Q&A regarding manifestation. If you have a burning manifestation question that you would like for me to answer in this series, just drop it down below in the comment section below, and I'll add it in. So the question is, if the world is a reflection of your inner self, then why do innocent people experience horrible incidents such as murder? And this is a fabulous question. I had somebody else ask this question in a different way, so I went ahead and just kind of like lumped this all into a whole video. I'm really glad that somebody asked this because a lot of people all over the globe have awful things happen to them. Innocent and good people. And to have mainstream law of attraction come in and try to insinuate that those things are somehow their fault is a gross misrepresentation of the law of reflection. I think this is part of the fallacy of modern religion as well, and what causes so many people to question it and leave it. If there is a God, why does he let so many people suffer, so many innocent and good people suffer? Part of this misunderstanding stems from the removal of reincarnation from Abrahamic texts, including the Bible, or on the other opposite end, mocking it as pseudoscientific. At the end of the day, whether you believe it or not, consciousness is energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred. Most people are cycling through their past experiences over and over and over again, hardening into them certain ways of being and beliefs that ultimately cause them to become a slave to the perpetual repetition of their past experiences. And this is what karma is. This perpetual repetition can be found in your astrological birth chart. The birth chart is not a prediction tool. It's a map of how your soul has been shaped over the course of your lifetimes. It's a tool for obtaining self-awareness so that you can know thyself and then co-create consciously from that broader sense of clarity, and you're able to more easily create fulfillment in your life. Unresolved pain and trauma store themselves in the body's etheric imprint, making a person a magnet for more intense traumatic experiences of increasing severity until the person faces whatever pain or trauma is continuing to cycle through and bring them suffering. For some, this takes multiple lifetimes, and that's why you have some people who magnetize experiences of getting murdered or something extreme like that, because maybe they were holding on to the resentment or trauma from getting murdered in another lifetime. Or maybe they were holding on to some pain that was literally killing them inside, and it just manifested outwardly. Everything is a reflection. Everything ultimately is coming from us, our pains, our joys, everything. It's the attachment to that pain that causes it to replicate itself and replicate itself and replicate itself until it's resolved. And it will replicate itself in increasing severity, in more intense ways, until we're forced to face it. You need to understand that most of the world is still operating without the awareness of their co-creative nature. Most people are going about their day-to-day life unconsciously creating with shitty beliefs about themselves. And these beliefs may come from their upbringing or from mass media or from societal expectations, or even things that they've carried over from other lifetimes, values, beliefs, perceptions. This is such a nuanced subject. There's really no one single way for this to be discussed. There are so many reasons why people experience suffering. And for many, it's because suffering is the default. Just like for someone who grew up in poverty, if someone has no conception of what it means to have their financial needs met, or no conception of abundance or no means of embodying it, then they get caught up in things like generational poverty. And speaking of generational cycles, I think this is also something to touch on, because not only are we cycling through our own past experiences, but we're also cycling through the suffering and traumas of our ancestors as well. Because we are of the same genetic material, we repeat the trauma of those who came before us. And this concept is known as ancestral karma. You know, you hear a lot of people talking about it in spiritual circles, breaking ancestral cycles, all of that stuff. When we learn to utilize our will and take charge of our destiny, we overwrite the story of our bloodline and we create a new story. Time is not linear, it's cyclical. The past, present, and future are all happening simultaneously. So through your decisions in the present moment, you can heal your past. And I talk more about this in my Eternal Return video. I'll link it somewhere around here and in the description box for those of you that are interested in watching. I think it's also important to note that cortisol addiction is a direct bodily manifestation of the karmic slavery that many have bound themselves to. We subconsciously seek out what's familiar. And for those of us who grew up in dysfunctional homes or disempowering dynamics, that becomes normal. I've said in many other videos that we manifest what is normal to us. If normal looks like being abused or disrespected or taken advantage of, then that's what you will continue to unconsciously create until you decide to do better by yourself and make the conscious decision to change. It doesn't take away any responsibility from those who inflict harm. And if anything, those people are bound to their own karmic slavery that will ultimately lead to their own demise. We can't change other people, or at least not through direct overt force in the 3D. We can only change ourselves, and that change will be reflected outward in the people in our life and in our reality. And that starts with our core beliefs. And this is why I'm such a strong proponent of subliminal and affirmation work on this channel, because many of us come into this work so broken from all of the different circumstances that we perceive as happening to us that we don't even really know where to begin with reshaping our beliefs. So even though I don't think it's necessary to listen to a tape for your affirmations, they definitely do help you flip beliefs that you weren't aware of or didn't know that you had. So it's time that we ditch this whole victim blaming narrative. It's not your fault that you've experienced traumatic events that at the time seemed like they were out of your control. It's just the unfortunate byproduct of a system that has failed you. Failed in educating you about the extent of your power as a human being, and intentionally hoarded wisdom for the occulted use of a small select few. In that same sentiment, now that you have the awareness of your co-creative nature, you do have a responsibility to yourself and your fellow humans to use it with the fullest intent. You can repel experiences of suffering by simply affirming and trusting that you are always thriving, or any other set of affirmations that works in that circumstance. Okay, the power of repetitive affirmation is available to you in any moment for any circumstance. It's that easy. But that's the conclusion of this video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Again, if you have a question, drop it down in the comment box below and I will take a look at them and add them to the list. But I've really been enjoying answering these questions. It's honestly helped take me deeper into my understanding of this work. So I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate your thoughts and expressions. They're so valued. If you're interested in coaching or a subliminal tape, check out my website down below, guys. But other than that, I will see you later. Take care and have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye-bye.